Now here come the distractions again, and you really got to prove to yourself, like, hey, this is my lifestyle now. And just because I get around other people or start doing other things, I'm not going to go backwards. Okay. So that's what the vacation survival guide's all about. It's all about, when you have an event, making sure that you plan for the event properly as well, too. Because when you go in with a game plan, you're going to be a lot more successful than just trying to wing it. Okay. All right. So first thing here is we're gonna go over what not to do. Okay. So one thing that you guys are not gonna do is what most people do when they go on vacation and say, F it, I'm just gonna enjoy myself, right? It's not worth you giving up your goals to enjoy yourself. You can enjoy yourself and still have your goals in the back of your mind. Okay. I feel like that's a lazy person way to think of, like, well, I just don't want to think about it, so I'm not. And then I'm going to be very upset with myself when I come back, but I'm not going to think that far ahead. I'll just deal with that when I come back, right? Like that's dumb. That's being reactive instead of proactive. So the other thing you're not going to do is go somewhere without a plan, okay? So anytime you guys have weddings coming up, going out of state, going on any kind of all-inclusive vacations, anything like that, you need to let your coach know so we can help develop a game plan for you and get you guys set on what you're going to do. So shout out to Melissa Terry. She did that just the other day, and we kind of went over everything together, and she has a solid game plan for when she's leaving at the end of the month. She's doing a lot of traveling, but she's like, hey, I don't want to screw up my results. She's down like 20 or 30 pounds, I think. Yeah, 30 pounds. So she doesn't want to mess that up, right? So she's very smart about making sure that she lets me know so I can help keep her on track. The other thing you're not going to do is forget about your goals, because the thing is like the vacation is going to last like a few days to a couple weeks, right? And when you get back, like, you're still going to want your goals. Like, you're not going to want your goals any less. If anything, you're going to want them more. So, like, trying not to think about it, or like, I'll worry about when I get back. Like, that's not going to help. You guys need to understand that, like, you probably wanted these goals for several years now, and a 2 week vacation is not worth you throwing that off. Okay. You're not going to be influenced by people around you. Okay. Like, just because other people are doing things, guys, like, this sounds so juvenile, right? It's something we tell our kids, but like, we don't practice it ourselves. Just because other people around you are going to do things that you are not going to align with your goals, that doesn't mean that you have to do that and you have to succumb to that, right? And have that conversation with that person and be like, hey, here's the thing that I really like is, like, blame it on your coach, right? Hey, Matt said I can't do that. Like, when you can offset the blame to someone else, people are going to be more understanding that, like, okay, they're literally like have to do this now, right? It's not their choice that they're consciously making. I would do that all the time, passing off blame, just to be able to not have to deal with, well, why? Well, asking me questions about, what I'm doing. Like, it's really none of their business. They just need to know, like, hey, this is my goal. I'm serious about it. And also letting people know you're serious about your goal, because if you can't consciously say to somebody, like, hey, I'm serious about my goals, then they're not going to believe you are serious about your goals. And you're subconsciously not going to believe that you're serious about your goals. But the more you say you're serious about your goals out loud to other people, the more accountability you have to yourself. And now they see that you're going to be accountable as well, too. Um, and then the other thing you're not going to do is, don't let a week or two of fun ruin 3 to 6 months of because you can throw that far off, guys. Like, if you come back, and here's the thing about traveling, especially like when you travel, guys, and you're gone for more than a few days, like, it's going to take you a week to get back on track. And that's just the sacrifice you have to make. Like, either you travel and you got to deal with like a week of getting back on top of it, or you just don't travel, right? And like with my transformation, like, I didn't travel for like a year and a half, 2 years, and I love to travel, guys. And I avoided it because I knew how hard it would be to do that, right? So like, I tell people that all the time, like, you used to go on vacation, you used to go into the lake, all this stuff that you think you need to do to enjoy your life, like, but at the end of the day, it's really setting you back from the ultimate happiness of achieving your goals. Like maybe you need to skip around. Maybe you need to sit it out for the summer, right? Like I say, sit it out for a summer, guys. See what happens. I guarantee you're not going to miss anything. You're going to be happier that you did. And that the next summer is still going to be there. Like it's not going anywhere. Any questions on that? You guys love hearing me preach, right? All right. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to have a plan, right? So we're going to develop a game plan for you guys when you go out. Okay. So you need to talk to your coach to help get those specific needs in check. Okay. Because everybody's vacation is going to look a little bit different. So you need to talk to your coach, tell them exactly what you're doing, where you're going, what the obstacles are going to be, because you're already going to know what those obstacles are going to look like, right? You're going to understand that like Melissa, she had, hey, I'm traveling for like 20 hours in my car with my kids. Like that's an obstacle, right? Like what snacks should I bring, right? Or, hey, I'm going to be on an all inclusive and it's going to be free alcohol and free food. Like, how do I not go crazy on this, right? Because that's hard not to do. Or maybe it's like, hey, we're going to be super active going all over the place. I don't know if I'm going to have time to eat. Okay. These are all game plans that you need to have in development before you even go on that trip, right? It's like packing your bags. Like you would never go on a trip without packing your bags, right? You'd never go on a trip without having a game plan for your health and fitness. Okay? And that's what separates you apart from everybody else that's going to gain 15 pounds on vacation and not get that back off. So having a game plan does not equal not having fun, guys. Just because you still have your goals in the back of your head does not mean you're not having fun. You can still, like, especially with the way that we teach this, you can still have the alcohol. You can still have the treats. You just got to have in the right amounts, right? Like my coach always says, like, you can have whatever you want to eat. You just can't have as much as you want. And that's called being an adult, right? Because the thing is like with our process, you can have whatever you want still, but you just got to know how much of it you can have. Okay. It's just like with your money, right? You can have what you want with your money, but you can't have everything, right? You can have whatever you want, but you can't have it all at once. And then when you get back, you'll be thanking yourself that you did have a plan, because like literally when I go on vacation, guys, now I've dialed this in so well. This is why I really like talking about this, is like I'm usually down when I come back from vacation, or if I have to get back on track, it only takes me like a couple of days because I'm still just locked into my process, right? Even though like I was traveling and all of that. So don't lose sight of what's truly important to you. At the end of the day, you guys want this, and don't let the little things right here, right now, throw you off of what you want in 6 months from now. Okay. All right. So food is still the most important component when you're going on vacation. Okay. The exercise, yes, still exercise. But at the end of the day, the food is always the number one thing. It's the number one factor in you getting your results and not getting results, right? So let me see if I can, there we go. So be sure you're planning. So with Melissa, I told her like, hey, you need to plan healthy snacks while you're in the car, right? Because she was worried about not being able to move, and when you're in a car and you're sitting for that long, like there's not a lot you can do there, but you can still control how much food you're putting in your system and what type of food you're putting in your system. And you can still have the snacks. You're just picking the real good things, right? Here's Mindy. So one thing I like to do too, and I know a lot of other fitness professionals do, is they'll do an Airbnb over a hotel when they go travel, right? Somebody tell me why that is.
Kitchen.
100%. The kitchen. What does the kitchen do for you?
You can cook whatever you want.
Exactly. And that allows you to not do so much of what?
Overeat.
Eating at a restaurant.
Eating at a restaurant, right? The less control we have over our environment, guys, the less likely we are to succeed. Okay. So the more control you have over your environment, the more opportunities you give yourself to be successful, right? And you can't always control your environment, but like it's 2021, we have Airbnb, right? So like, and it's literally the same, if not cheaper than a hotel nowadays. You can cook your food, you can have cold stuff. You're just in way better control of your environment. It's basically like picking up your house and moving it to another location, right? You got to do a little bit more work. That means like getting off the plane and instead of going out to eat right away, you go to the store and you grab some snacks. You grab some, pre-made meat. You grab some things that are going to be within line with kind of the things that you normally do anyway, but you're just in a different place doing it, right? So that'll help out a ton. The other thing is just, again, having that conversation, letting your friends and family know ahead of time. I think Mindy was really good with this when she went to travel. Her friends were super supportive. So let them know, like, hey, my coach said I got to do this. I'm really in tune with what my goals are right now, and I want this more than anything right now. Okay. If your friends don't understand that, your family don't understand that, like, they're probably not the right people for you to be around. And that's where I always say, like, have edited relationships with people like that, to where you're not, like, if you're going on a vacation, a long vacation with those type of people, like, you got to figure that out, and you maybe opt out of that type of vacation, right? Because if you can't say, like, hey, this goal is super important to me, to your best friends and your close family, like, and they can't accept that, then you got to separate yourself somewhat from those people, because I mean, you're only as good as those you're hanging around. So you're just gonna you're just gonna fall victim to whatever they're doing. Okay.
And
So
Matt,
what's that?
real quick, you got Jessica trying to get in.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
It's not telling me anybody's trying to get in.
She just messaged me and said she was waiting to get in.
I think maybe she's in. Message her back and see. Oh, never mind. I got her. Jessica Dillon. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. We got like 20 people on this call, guys. Awesome. Cool. So where was I at? Thanks for letting me know that, Eric. Okay, cool. So treat it as a job, okay? And I know that doesn't sound fun and sexy, but like, that's what I always say on the weekends too. Like, people usually self-sabotage on the weekends, and one of my go-to advice and something I use for myself was I would treat Saturday like another work day, right? Doesn't mean I was working, but it means that, like, I would also.
SBNO, First National Bank.
Hi, can you mute yourself, please?
Oh, sorry.
You're all good. Okay. Anyways, where was I at? No, treat it as a job. So one thing I always say was, like, Saturdays, treat it as a job. That doesn't mean you're working on Saturdays, but treat it as another work day. Do everything the same you would. Honestly, you should do both Saturday and Sunday like that. But like, if Sunday you want to relax a little bit more and maybe have those foods that you don't normally have, definitely go for it. Just make sure everything gets logged in. But if you treat Saturday like another work day, because what most people do, guys, and this is like the 9 to 5 rat race I've noticed, is like, Friday you get off work, you're like, oh, I need a drink. I'm gonna go out to eat with the friends, yada yada yada. And then now, instead of having like one bad day on the weekend, you already started your weekend on a Friday, and you're doing Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Because once you go off plan, like, you're just gonna keep going off plan until Monday comes around, and it's like the freaking international reset button, right? Like, everybody tries to reset on Monday. Like, that doesn't work, guys. So you got to really, like, momentum's built on the weekends. Okay. Momentum's built on vacations too, like, believe it or not. Because if you do this the right way, you're going to be able to do multiple vacations and still be looking good, feeling good, and striving towards your goals, getting to your goals. So really try to think of it as just something you have to do, as opposed to you even having the option of doing it. Okay. So take it serious. All right. So one thing we always recommend when you go on vacation, because we are going to be drinking more, eating more foods outside of our norm, things like that. And you don't really want to sit there and stress about it. Like, if you're really in tune with your goals and you're like, hey, I want to come back from this trip even less than I was, then yes, do everything according to plan and stay within your limits. But if it's like, hey, I'm going on vacation and I really want to enjoy myself, then we would put you at a maintenance. Okay. So what a maintenance is it's a calorie intake, guys, where you're not going to gain weight and you're not going to lose weight. Now, because of the food choices, more carbohydrates, just different types of things you're putting in your body, it may look like you're going up in weight, because that's what the scale is going to read when you have more sodium, more carbohydrates, things like that. That's not fat, I promise. As long as you're hitting your maintenance calories in the right way, you won't gain any weight, right? But what it allows is it allows you to have more room for other food sources that you really like. So let's say I'm at 1,500 calories and my maintenance is 2,000, right? So for my trip, I go up to 2,000 calories. Now I have 500 extra calories in my day. It's like having 500 extra dollars to spend, right? And I have that in my day to allow me to have some of those more foods that I enjoy, and not have to opt out of certain situations, right? So I always try to go into maintenance when I go on a trip, because it just allows me more freedom. I still stay on top of my stuff, so I'm not gaining weight, but it also just allows me to enjoy it a little bit more. So that's optional. I highly recommend it. That's what Melissa's gonna do, because here's the thing: is when we're in a fat loss phase, guys, you're gonna need to go into maintenance at some point. So what better time to go into a maintenance for a week or two than when you're on vacation? Because what that does is it resets your metabolism, gets your metabolism back up to where it was supposed to be, and then we can put you back in a deficit, and your fat loss phase is going to be a little bit more effective when we do that. Okay, if we just always stay, this is why people say, well, I don't eat that much, or I'm really low calories or whatever. It's because your body gets used to that. It lowers your metabolic rate, and then you can't get past that certain point because your body always wants to adapt and go into a homeostasis, right? So like when we play with the numbers, we're basically just tricking the body into doing what we want. Okay. But you got to be accurate with your numbers, and you got to stay on plan all the time to be able to have that luxury of being able to do that. Does that make sense to everybody? We're kind of quiet right now. That was more of a technical piece. So I just want to make sure that everybody kind of understands what that means. Anybody have any questions on maintenance calories and how that works on vacation?
No.
Nope. Cool. I just must be a really good explainer, right?
Well,
was just-
I noticed when I was traveling that if you ask for a gluten-free menu, that helps out tremendously, because that helps, then that shows you what those meals are that you can have that necessarily don't have as many carbs and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of those menus, guys, have the healthier options and stuff like that. So the healthier options are just going to be a little bit more calorie friendly. You can still, if you plan for it, you can still have the burger and fries. You just got to fit it into your day. So I love what V posted earlier, talking about how she's starting to realize, like, hey, all the food she's been trying to avoid when she was quote unquote, trying to go on a diet or lose weight, she's finding out how to fit that into her day. So it's more about fitting what you actually like into your day, staying within your ranges, than it is just cutting everything out. Like, that's not a long-term solution, guys, right? What's up, Lucas? You made it.
What's up, man? How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. Anybody else got any questions on maintenance calories and how that works with vacation? So if you go on vacation, don't be the one that doesn't tell your coach, like, hey, I'm over here in Cancun right now. They haven't heard from you in 3 days, and all of a sudden you're in Cancun. Like, that's not cool. We want to help you. We want to make sure that you're not like self-sabotaging, okay? Vacation doesn't mean throw everything out the window, okay? It means have fun, enjoy it, relax. But like, the goals are still the goals at the end of the day, right? But if you're looking at this like, oh, this is work, you need to reframe your mindset and into just more of a lifestyle. Like, is it inconvenient compared to not doing it? Yes. But there's also the inconvenience of being overweight, not feeling good, not being sexy. Like, which inconvenience do you want? Because when I look in the mirror, I love what I see, right? But there's certainly days where I don't want to plug my food in. I don't want to do my workout. I don't want to hit all my steps, but I do, because I want to be able to look in the mirror every single day and go, fuck yeah, dude. Excuse my language. Y'all
I
with
just
me?
got schooled on that one recently. Because I kept doing the self-sabotage thing and then like, why am I not losing? Why am I not losing? I'm doing everything. But then it was one of those where, I would get into a habit of like really good Monday through Friday. And then I would just blow it off on the weekend. And then I would blame the world for my own inconsistencies. But then, coach was telling me, like, just think about how you feel afterwards. Like, is it even worth it? And quite honestly, like looking at all the trends week after week of the whole like up and down emotionally of like, I'm doing good. Oh, it's whatever. Now I feel like crap. It's just not worth it, honestly.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that because it's hard to admit those things that you are doing that, but like she's right, and everybody does that. I've been there, and hitting that reset button every Monday, guys, like that shit sucks. Like I don't want to hit a reset button every Monday. I want to go into my Monday down a pound or two from the last week, having great momentum, okay? Because like having that extra beer or that extra cheesecake or whatever I thought I needed on that Sunday night because I worked so hard the week before, like, dude, you should stop telling yourself those stories that you deserve this and you need this. Like, you deserve to fucking look good and have a great body and have great health and have a great mindset. But when you're out of shape and you don't feel good about yourself, like you're not getting any of those things. Like your mindset sucks when you don't love yourself and you don't feel 100% confident in yourself, right? Like that trickles at everything.
Absolutely.
Cool. So kind of went over this going into maintenance, go to tracking calories only. So here's the thing too, that's kind of cool is where you guys can have a little bit more leniency is like, typically when I go into maintenance, then I'll only track my calories. I'll still try to get in more protein if I can. But when you only have to track your calories, it's like 2 or 3 less things that you really got to focus on, right? So like if I go up to a 2,000 calorie maintenance, then I'm only worried about the calories in versus calories out, as opposed to hitting every single macronutrient. Now, if you guys don't want to go that far off, which some of you won't because you like that control, which is good. Control is a good thing, guys. Like not having control is a bad thing. So if somebody calls you a control freak, like you better tell them thank you, because I'm a control freak about my life and my health and my daily routines, okay, and my goals. But the thing is like if you don't want to go that far out, then you just do calories and protein, because at the end of the day, those are the 2 most important things anyway. Okay, calories first, protein next. Carbs and fats can sit where they may, and you're still going to have the same physique at the end of the day, right? But calories and protein always, okay? And if you're on vacation or you got a party or something, you just, hey, I just want to focus on my calories, do that, okay? Because you still can drop weight, you can still gain weight, like whatever your goal is. If you hit calories, you're good. All right. Cool. So went over that. That Corona looks good right about now too. What do you say,
You got
JoJo?
goals, Matt. You got goals.
No,
Can't
it
be thinking
doesn't.
about that.
Hey, I still drink my Corona. I can still have my Corona and drink it too. That's what I love about this. That's what I love about macros.
Whiskey.
Whiskey. What are we drinking tomorrow night, Coach E?
Tomorrow?
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Saturday. I'm thinking it's Friday. I'm ready to be checked out.
Whatever you want to drink. I'm
we're
drinking whiskey.
going to the fights, so we're going to have some fun. All right. If anybody's going to the fights, if they're in Lincoln, me, Lucas, and Eric will be there. So say what's up.
Who's fighting?
Oh, it's like local amateur fights.
I trained 2 of the guys in boxing, Troy McCoon and Andrew Somers.
Awesome.
Cool. So biggest thing you hear is what gets measured gets managed, guys. So take your best estimate. So everybody's like, what do I do if, I don't know what's in this food and that, like, dude, when I'm in Colombia, guys, it's a 3rd world country. I go like every 6 months. Do you think I have a food scale there? Do you think I have measuring cups? Like, I can't even say measuring cups in Spanish. Like, I gotta figure it out, right? So I look at the food, and this is why it's so important, guys, to like be doing this when you are in control of your environment, because when you aren't in control of your environment, guess what? And you have to do estimates, your estimates are going to be so much more close to the real thing than if you just have no idea. Like if you have no idea what 6 ounces of meat looks like, it's going to be really hard for you to track that when you don't have a scale, right? If you have no idea like what a cup of broccoli looks like it's going to be hard for you to track that, right? But I can look at a play. I've gotten so good at this, and I can go, that's that, and that's that, and that's that. And I'll probably be within 2 ounces of everything. Because I've done that before. Like I just want to, we call it in the Marine Corps IF in it. I won't say the word, but Jojo knows what I'm talking about. Where you just look at it and you like take a rough estimate, and I'm usually pretty close. So being close is better than just not doing it. Okay. Oh, I don't have a food scale, so I'm not doing it. No, just take your best estimate, put it in your MyFitnessPal. If you're off by a couple hundred calories, like it's way better than going, oh, screw it, and being 1,500 calories over where you're supposed to, right? So keep that in mind. Like just eyeball it and try to do your best, okay? Because you're gonna get good at that eventually as well too. Any restaurant you go to, kind of like what Mindy was talking about, is going to have a healthier options. Okay, you can do that. Otherwise, just look up the all restaurants, especially nowadays. If you guys gone to a restaurant lately, they don't even have paper menus anymore. You literally got to scan the barcode thing. So it's all on the internet. It's already there for you. You can do your homework before you even go. Okay, figure out what you can afford to have. Okay, just like your money, right? You don't go to a steak restaurant and go, I'm gonna get the $120 plate, but I only got $60 in my account, right? So you don't do that with your calories either. You don't go, I'm gonna have the 1,500 calorie meal, but I only have 700 calories to work with. If you want that, there's ways around that. Okay, but you gotta have some pre-thought. So like look it up, put it in your MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal has all the stuff in there too. It's pretty accurate for the most part. If you can't find the exact restaurant, let's say you go to like a mom and pop shop, you find something that's similar to that. Okay. So like if I went to, let's just say a random ice cream place, right? I would just look up Dairy Queen and see, maybe I got a parfait at a random ice cream place. I would look up what Dairy Queen had on theirs, and I would just use that. Okay. It's close enough. It's better than not doing it. Okay. Don't be lazy. Do a little bit of pre-thought. Okay. You're going to win your vacation. Win the vacation. Come back solid. All right. One thing I also like to do is I like to double my output on vacation. So here's what we think when we're going on vacation. Oh, we're just going to go lay on a beach and drink beer all day and da da da. And sometimes you might, like some days you won't, you will. But I think for most people, you're going to want to go sightseeing. You're going to want to be active, right? So like just try to double your output. Okay. So if you normally do 10,000 steps per day, try to shoot for 20. Okay. Because that's going to give you more room to play with as far as how many calories you can intake. So let's say you're effing things and looking around and you're like, I think this is this, and you were off by 200, but then you got an extra 10,000 steps in your day. Don't you think that's going to offset the accuracy of the food? Yeah, it's going to. So that's why it's super big to try to be a little bit more active if you can. Okay. Work out on vacation. Like nobody ever died from a workout on vacation. Like just because it's vacation doesn't mean, honestly, like the last time I went to Colombia, I didn't work out at all. It was 2 weeks and I felt like complete dog shit, guys. Like I felt like ass because my body's just so used to working out that when I don't do it, I felt depressed. I felt anxiety. Like I felt all these feelings that I normally don't have. And it wasn't because there was anything wrong. Like literally there's nothing wrong with me. I got family over there. It's a beautiful country. Like I should have been loving every second of it, but it's because my body was like, dude, we're used to having these endorphins running through our brain because you're working out. Now you're not doing anything. So like do some workouts, make yourself feel better. Like you're going to feel way better, even if it's just some push-ups and sit-ups, like some squats, walking more, maybe a little run. One thing I like to do is when I go on like a business trip, I'll go run in the morning. I'll go and fasted. I feel great for the whole day. Like just that little run just makes a huge difference, guys. So cool. Any questions on that at all? Just try to do more output. No? Good. Everybody wants to be quiet tonight? Nobody wants to chat with Matt? All right. Cool. So we got fasting. Okay. So I'm going to try not to get into this too much. So fasting, there's nothing magical about fasting, guys. I know a lot of these protocols all get kind of hyped up and things like this. The only reason I like fasting is because it offsets your calories for a later time. Okay. And when you're on vacation or you're going out to eat, or even if I have a birthday party or something like this, I'll practice that fasting protocol just so I can have more calories for later. It's like saving your money for later, right? Because you want something better. So fasting, like literally just don't eat when you get up. And again, like you got to be smart about it, because if you can't fast without like overindulging and just going nuts, don't do it. But like if you have some self-control and you go, you know, I just want something later, you can I don't know who that is, but that's distracting. So if you want something later, like that's gonna just be a lot of calories, just try fasting in the morning. So I'll typically run in the morning. If I'm on either a vacation or a business trip, I'll run fasted in the morning, and then I will not eat until probably noon when they serve us lunch, because they always serve lunch and I never know what it's gonna be. So that saves me, allows me to have more calories for later. Okay. So that's really good as well too. Now, obviously that's not going to work if the people you're with want to go out to eat for breakfast and things like that. You could always skip it, but that has helped me a lot, is just fasting and saving my calories for later. Okay. But as far as like fasting in general, like it honestly just doesn't, like when people lose weight from fasting, it's literally just because they're taking in less calories. Just like keto, you're taking in less calories, it's not the carbs. Okay. Just like paleo, you're taking in less calories, it's not cutting out the sugar, things like that. Like every time you cut something out, of course, you're going to have less calories and you're going to lose some weight, right? It's not a sustainable plan unless you're doing it by the numbers, right? So I know people that fast but still track their macros, and that works for them. Okay. So when you're fasting, if you're getting hungry, I like to drink water or 0-calorie carbonated drink. Carbonated drinks are gonna make you feel more full. The caffeine kind of keeps your hunger at bay as well too. So it's all finding those little things where you're not thinking about eating, right? Stay busy while you're fasting. The more busy you are, the easier it is to fast, which is what you guys intentionally do or unintentionally do a lot. You know, I get a lot of, well, I'm at work all day and I'm not eating. Okay. It's because you're so busy, you're not thinking about how hungry you are. But when that's not the game plan, then you go home and eat all the calories, or you're just not eating enough and you're an energy imbalance. Okay. So running first thing in the morning or doing some cardio on a fast, I think helps offset the hunger as well too. So that's why I like to run, because like when I get done running, I'm not hungry for probably another couple hours after. Okay. And I'll drink some coffee and water and just things I got to do until I'm ready to eat. Any questions on the fasting, guys? I kind of went over that kind of quick.
You should warn them about the carbonated drinks though, Matt. Warning.
What's a warning?
If you haven't had them in a while, just be prepared to not feel good.
Oh yeah. Mindy got an upset stomach because she hasn't had a carbonated drink in a while.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Hey, Matt.
Yes, sir.
When you're fasting, you have to become, you have to have a calmer mind. So I feel like for successful fasting, meditation is key. You got to have the mental strength also to be able to fast. So make sure you got your mind right too. You're not just fasting your appetite, but you fasting your mind too, because it's hard to stay busy when you hungry.
Yeah,
You know,
100%.
it's hard to eat correctly when it's time to eat outside of your fast. So
Right.
it takes, you got to mentally be strong enough and be at a point to where you like, look, this is what I need to do. This needs to change. I have to do it. It's a priority. If it don't happen, we're gonna have problems. I don't want problems.
Yeah. That's why I don't recommend fasting protocols for most people unless it's the vacation thing where you can push off calories till later. But yeah, I mean, it takes you got to be a different type of person to be able to fast. I've done it in the past. I don't like it. I like being able to eat and have a routine, but I do use that tool. It's just a tool in your tool belt for when you're going on vacation, or maybe you have a birthday party. Like the other day I did it. I just did it on Saturday night, right? Me and my wife were gonna go out to sushi, and I can throw down some sushi. So I was like, cool. I'm gonna fast for the first half of the day. I went and played basketball at like 1. So I'm like, as long as I can make it to 1, like I'm not even gonna think about being hungry. I drank some coffee that helped kept me full until 1. Went and played basketball for 2 hours. Got done at 3. Came home, ate a little bit, like just some protein because I wanted something in my system, so I wasn't like hangry. But then I went and ate, and I had all my food planned out too because I knew what sushi restaurant we were going to, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. I had everything I wanted. I was happy at the end of the night, and it didn't affect anything. So that's the way you want to do it. Okay, if you can't handle that, then don't do it. Stay on track. But that's just a little cheat code, I guess you could call it. All right, alcohol consumption. So what do you do when you want to drink? Okay, because I don't believe in eliminating stuff. If you don't want to drink, that's fine, but I like to have my Coronas, things like that. So remember, when you input alcohol into your MyFitnessPal, you're going to use this Kashi Nutrition, okay? And it basically just says 1 calorie. It converts. So alcohol is the fourth macronutrient. So it's kind of it's a fat and a carb. It's kind of strange, but we want to convert all of those into carbs. Can anybody tell me why we want to convert all of our alcohol calories into carbs? Come on, let's go. Some of my old school riders in here, like, what have I taught you? Let's go.
Doesn't it process it like sugar, your body?
Nope. Thanks for trying. I appreciate it.
You have more carbs than most other macros.
Nope. Why do we want, what's the difference between a carb and a fat, guys?
7 grams, and fat is
Carb
9.
A carb is 4 grams.
correct.
Fat is 9 grams.
Yes.
That's the difference.
So somebody other than a coach needs to answer that question next time, because I ask that question almost every time. Somebody got it last time. But when a carb is 1 gram of carbohydrate is 4 calories, as opposed to 1 gram of fat, which is 9. So it's literally over double what a carb is. Okay. This is why I preach a lower fat diet, not a no fat diet, a lower fat diet, because you're going to have way more calories to play with when you have less fat in your diet. So if alcohol is the 4th macronutrient, it could be a carb or a fat. We want to make it convert it to a carbohydrate, right? So we can have more, right?
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense to everybody?
Mm-hmm.
So when you plug it in, this is me doing 3 Coronas at 99 calories, okay? 297. So I get 3 Coronas for 300 calories. Now, if these were fat calories, I'd get like 1.5, maybe, not even, right? I like my 3 Coronas. So when you are drinking, I always recommend doing clear liquor, okay? Because you're not getting a bunch of other stuff in there when they make the liquor. With water is going to keep you hydrated. You're not going to have a nasty hangover in the morning. It's going to keep you fuller, okay? If you can't do water, do a 0 calorie like sweetener with it, like Mio or something like that. That won't affect you as much either. So if you're drinking beer, you have to drink beer. I always say try to have like a glass of water in between each beer or something like that. This helps keep you hydrated, and you're not just drinking uncontrollably to where you're just ruining all your progress. Okay.